For those that maybe aren't going to have access to more intimate training from you.
Yes.
And obviously it's a more extensive training that would cover all these things. What would you tell people on how they can organize their voice through a speech so that they're tapping into the hearts of people when they connect with them and sharing their story in such a way that it is an interruption and gets people to transform the way they look at themselves in a more positive way and impact others around them? What would you say? I took Toastmasters 8 years ago. I think you took it, or you were part of the organization in some way.
I never took Toastmasters. Toastmasters, they selected me among the top 5 speakers in the world. General Norman Schwarzkopf, Leah Coker, Paul Harvey, and Robert Schuller. I mean, that's a very elite group. Yes, I'm the last guy standing.
That's pretty big. Well, I took them 8 years ago for a year because I couldn't stand in front of 5 people and share anything without stuttering and stumbling and forgetting what I was going to say.
The first time I stood up to speak, I stood up and my mind sat down. I choked. I couldn't remember anything. When I spoke in the Georgia Dome, I went to the bathroom 7 times. Did I tell you 7 is my lucky number? They knocked on the door. Brownie. I said, what is it? Come out, man. Dexter Yeager, they're pausing now because it's time for you. And I made a mistake. I looked out at the audience and I panicked. I said, Mike, I don't hear the voices. I'm scared. He said, Brownie, they came to see you. You didn't come to see them. He said, come out. You will hear the voices. I said, I don't know, Mike. I've been trying. I just don't know. I'm scared. And he said, just be scared and do it anyhow. Don't speak. I said, I don't have to speak? He said, no. I said, then what will I do? He said, just tell a story. Tell a story of where you are, about what you're going through, and about the goal and dream for buying your mother a home. You know, I told my mother, I said, Mama, when I become a man, I'm going to buy your home. I said, when I turn 18, I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to be able to buy groceries for us. We won't have to wait till someone eats and hope that there's something left over. I'm going to buy brand new clothes for us, and we won't have to wear somebody else's children's clothes that they've worn all year long. When I become a man, you'll never pay another bill. I don't believe that women should pay bills. I think if a woman wants to work, she should work and do what she loves to do, and if whatever money she earns, she should keep it for herself. A man, not a grown boy, a man provides and protects. I'm from old school. And so my vision of myself, of wanting to buy her home and be able to provide for her, and I did that. I bought 4 different homes before she passed. That drove me. And so I think it's important that people find something that gives their life a sense of meaning and value that drives them, that becomes their magnificent obsession.
Yeah.
And that's where I am.
I like that. And so what about for people who want to give their speech and share their voice?
Well, I think they should find something that they're passionate about. Some subject that they can lose themselves in. The scripture says, for man to gain his life, he must lose it. And I thought it was about physically losing your life, but it's about when I speak, I go to a place. LeBron James, when they won the championship, he was in an interview and they said, how did you do it? And he said, I had to go to another place. So when I speak, it's not about me. My prayer is more of thee, less of me. I'm encouraging people who are serious about speaking. Don't just do it for the money. You can make a lot of money. I earn more in 1 hour than 90% of the American public earn working for 5 years. But when you find something that you love, you will study it. Something that you love that becomes a difference between being in speaking and speaking being in you, that you will become not just confident, but you will become competent on that. That when I prepare myself for a speaking engagement, and I still do, because I don't believe that you're never too old to learn and you're never too young to teach. And so I pour myself into it. I lose myself into it because it's not about me. It's about the audience. So I'm suggesting to those, and I only want to work with people who are serious, that what we can do for those people is right now, number one, never make a point without a story, and never tell a story without a point. That's number one. That's key, because stories can be used to transform people's lives.
Right? Yeah.
Not just anchor the points, but it creates a significant emotional event. And that's how human behavior is transformed. We have emotional memory. The next thing in speaking, there is some fear, and that fear is always there. I never assume that I know what that audience is going to believe. Each audience, they have their own personality, and each audience, their audience inside of each audience is separated by age, by race, by income, by education. The other thing that's crucial in speaking is that as you speak and as you look at the audience, always take the time to find out who they are, and all that get understanding. So I have a needs assessment that I sent out, and I ask them questions. What are the things that you want this audience to walk away with? What are the things that you've done? Things that's stressing you out? What's the unspoken conversation? So I sent out this needs assessment. I talk with the CEO. I do research to find out their mission statement. I talk to the marketing director, and then I interview the top performers. If it's a sales organization, I talk to the top performers, and then the next step, I interview people in the audience. If you were in my position, what are the things that people in this audience need to hear if you were in my position that you would suggest? I ask them individually, at least 5 people. And then when I'm on stage, I integrate that. I marry that to navigate an experience. As I said, Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So when you bring all of those elements in there with humor, with quotes, statistics, and stories, you are able to create special moments that can transform that audience. The other thing, when you tell a story, don't just tell the story. Experience the story, and the audience will go there with you.
Be the story.
Yes, you've got to be the story, the embodiment of the story, so that the audience, as a result of hearing it, that they can't rest, that you start showing up in their dreams. You know, I have one of the things that I love, and I'll give them an example of what I mean, because some things are taught and some things are caught. One of the things that I spoke the other day, and I wanted this group of people that I was talking to, I wanted to challenge them to get outside of their comfort zone and to become uncomfortable with where they are. There's no saying you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. However, if you know how to speak strategically and create a special moment, you can create a thirst where they want to drink. And so when I got to the end of my presentation, I looked at them and I said, right now I want to talk to you about Dr. Howard Thurman, who was one of the mentors of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Albert Schweitzer and Mahatma Gandhi. And when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and my PSA was 2,400, I was pondering about my life. Am I going to beat this? And I was reading his words for comfort, and he said, the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. But imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those gifts, and there they are looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life, and now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what gifts will die with you? I pause, and the room is silent. I said, maybe that's why Henry David Thoreau said, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived. Maybe that's why one woman said, what if you live your whole life only to discover that it was wrong? Then I tell them, live full, die empty. I had one lady who, she was 62 and she went back to finish law school at Wayne State University. She said, I'm not going to have that ghost around my bed. I spoke at West Angeles Church in Los Angeles, and Denzel Washington was on the first row. And he said, and he mentions this several times in graduation speeches, that he had a narrow vision of the roles that he would play as an actor. And after he heard that, he said he decided that he was going to play a variety of roles, that he didn't want any role that said, we came to you, Denzel, and you wouldn't want to play us. You want to just be a goody two-shoe guy, all right? Yeah. So I said, wow, I hope I didn't inspire him to do Training Day, because I got sick of that. I couldn't keep my popcorn down.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's about creating those special moments, but the other thing is get some coaching.
Yeah.
From people, definitely. And not just anybody, someone who's accomplished and doing it on the level that you want to do it, because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. Muhammad Ali said, I'm the greatest, but he never won a championship without Angelo Dundee. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan, considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but he never won a championship without Phil Jackson. So get some coaching from someone who's experienced, who's operated on the level that you want to go at. When I saw Mike Williams, who wrote the book, The Road to Your Best Stuff, he was a powerful speaker, and I loved his content and the naturalness of his personality, and he had fun. And so I said, I want to be like that. So I'm a combination of Mike Williams and Earl Nightingale, who was well-read, and Zig Ziglar, who had a lot of energy. And Jim Rohn has some profound quotes. Just a great thinker, a statesman. But I also trained to be able to communicate. Like Dr. King was a great orator. Malcolm X was a great communicator. And so I integrate all of these people. I believe if you love this, you will study the people that master it, and you will evolve into creating your own voice with your own energy signature.
Do you have an online program as well for speaking for people that want to know
Yes. More? In fact, we have just completed one that's not online, but what they can do if they're serious and hungry. I'm looking for people that are hungry. Hungry people are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. They can email me at lesbrown77@gmail.com. Did I tell you 7 is my lucky number? lesbrown77@gmail.com and said, I want to tell my story and make a difference. And we will get to, I will send them the 7 principles of storytelling and some videos of how to tell your story. And we'll do that free for them.
Very cool.
And also the Georgia Dome presentation and 2 others that I just found that would be just great for them. The 7 principles of storytelling, how to tell your story, and the Georgia Dome presentation, and some others that I just located. And the reason that I want to do that, I believe that if we multiply the voices of hope, messengers of hope that will provide a message of peace and a message of hope, when there's hope in the future that gives you power in the present. I believe that we can reduce the recidivism rate. I believe that we can reduce the number of our young men and women that's in the military who are committing suicide on a regular basis. I believe that we can begin to decrease crime and the violence that's taking place all across this country, because evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. Nothing happens until it's communicated. In the beginning was the Word. And so my goal is to multiply the voices out here that will bring some words that can help us to get a different vision of ourselves.
That's powerful.
I asked you before we came on, what is your signature message? And you see your signature message being?
Believe in yourself, believe that it's possible, believe that it can work out, believe that someone like you can do amazing things. I think lack of belief is the single most important issue facing us as a human species. And I wake up every day trying to solve it one person at a time.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Where did that come from in you? You're saying, this is something that I want to talk about and share with audiences around the world and showcase speakers and their messages and their values. Where did that come from?
At the core, I think it came from my parents. They're hanging. There's a picture behind me on the wall here. That's me when I'm 8 or 9 years old, and those are my parents. And they used to always tell me, "You're Evan Castrilli Carmichael. You can do anything you believe that you can."
Gotcha. I want you to go into your imagination and go around 4 or 5, and going there, who would you say was the most influential, impactful person in your life that you admired and looked up to? Who was that person?
Probably my mom.
Your mother. What's her name?
Anna Marie.
Anna Marie. All right. Now, I want you to use 5 adjectives and an example. Anna Marie, give me the first adjective and an example. What was the first quality that you admired about your mother?
Service.
What do you mean by that? Give me an example.
She always was and is, she's still alive, trying to serve, trying to help, trying to do something bigger than herself, caring about her community, and instilled that in me too. It was like, you have to go off and do more than just for you. You have to go off and serve others too.
Excellent. What's the second quality?
Belief. Whenever I was not doing well, whenever I didn't get the same grades my sisters got, or whenever I got into trouble, it wasn't just punishment. There was always this feeling like, okay, I can do better. Not that I'm bad, but that I can go somewhere else. And that belief in me helped me believe in myself a little bit more too. Excellent.
And the third quality?
This is fun. I like this. You put me on the spot. This is great. I'm going to have to show my mom this stream afterwards. I'm sure she's going to love it. The family, I mean, she's the glue for our family. And just the caring for people, remembering little things like remembering people's birthdays. She makes an annual family calendar for us every year. So we all remember, in our extended family, whose birthdays are when, and those little touches to recognize and show appreciation and love for the people who are closest to you.
Okay. And the fourth?
Fourth, the conviction to follow through. She had a lot of things stacked against her. She did things that a woman wasn't supposed to do in terms of leadership positions and running organizations, where she was the first. She became the first chairman of an educational institution that she changed the name to chair. So it's not just chairman. And so did a lot of things that someone like her wasn't supposed to do, an immigrant woman wasn't supposed to do. And she just persevered her way through it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting emotional, Les, and thinking about these. This is great.
Okay. And what's the fifth quality?
Fifth quality, just a constant, never-ending drive to get better. Striving to get better. That good enough isn't good enough. That you can always do more. That one of the things she would always say is, if you have the ability, you have the responsibility. If you can, then you must. Some of those words kind of, every time I walk, I've got 5 pictures in my office and they're in the middle. And every time I walk in, I hear some of those phrases every single time fill in my head. Excellent.
If you wrote a book about your mother, I think you should. I talk about my mother, Mamie Brown. I'm adopted, and I just a few weeks ago saw a picture of my birth mother, and my birth mother gave me life, but my adopted mother taught me how to live life. But if you wrote a book about her and what you learned from her and how to live life, what would that title be? And a title that would appeal to anybody, regardless of their gender, regardless of their politics and religious persuasion, young or old. What would that title be about Anna Marie? What would that title be?
It can be done.
It can be done. Oh, I love that. Can be done. And the subtitle?
that we don't want to make it gender specific. The subtitle would be Your March to Find Meaning and Purpose.
Your march to find meaning and purpose. Excellent. Do you mind if I take a swing at your story? This is a signature story, I believe.
Let's go.
Hello, my name is Evan, and I want to talk to you about your goals and dreams and things that you want to achieve with your life. And I want you to think about them in your personal life, things that you want to achieve. And in my case, I'm living the life that I love, and I love the life that I live because my mother raised me to be the kind of person to want to make the world a better place than how it is right now. So I want you to think about something in your personal life that you'd like to do, or someone you'd like to do something for. And then I want you to think about your financial freedom number. You know, people say money won't make you happy, but there was something that I believe in very strongly. It can make you happy, but the people who say that just never had any. Red Fox said money ain't everything, but it can sure make a down payment on what you want. So I want you to think about your financial freedom number, or doing something, a job or some cause that you want to represent. And that brings me to, I want you to think about your life, living a life that will outlive you. As I look at and reflect on my mother, every time I come in the office, I see her picture and I realize she resonated with the words of Horace Mann, who said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. And as you reflect on and looking at your life in and out of the pandemic, and as all of us, I think, are in a place where we are marching toward finding meaning and purpose in our lives, I want you to write this down: service. My mother, Anna Marie, she believed in service. My favorite book says that the greatest among you will be your servant. And it was Earl Nightingale who said that your success in life or failure is directly related to the quality and the quantity of the service that you provide. As you look at yourself and look at your life right now, what service can you provide in and out of the pandemic that will make a tremendous impact, that will make your life count, that will be able to establish you as a person who lived a meaningful, purposeful life and made a difference for others? It was John H. Johnson who, with a $500 loan from his mother, and he built a $400 million empire. He said, "There's no defense against an excellence of service that meets a pressing public need." Have a service-driven life. That's what I learned from my mother, Anna Marie. Here's the next thing: belief. You know, when I failed in school, there were times I felt down on myself, but she didn't criticize me. She didn't beat up on me. She just made me feel I can do better. She had high expectations for me. No one rises to low expectations. And she let me know that she expected more. She let me know that I had the ability to do more. She let me know that the grades did not define me. And that inspired me to live an inspired life. That brought something out of me that even now I talk about service and belief, because I know that I'm not just a messenger, but I am the message. When you have someone that can believe in you before your belief kicks in. And that's what my mother did for me. And the next thing is caring. Oh boy, she did not forget birthdays and anniversaries. You know, it was Maya Angelou said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And my mother, she not cared just for me, but for the family, for everybody. Everybody know that my mother has a big heart, a heart-centered life. And she shared her caring with those in the family and people that she met. It's been said that love, inspiration, and caring are perfumes you can't sprinkle on others without getting a few drops on yourself. Live a life of caring. And the next thing is conviction. Whatever goals and dreams that you are going after, that you see for yourself, you must be convicted in your spirit that you're going to make it, that you're going to do it. My mother, she accomplished some things against all odds. People didn't think that she'd be able to do that, but she did it. She was determined. A lot of people say it's not over till the fat lady sings. Well, many people quit when she's just clearing her throat. But my mother, she was convicted. She walked by faith and not by sight. My mother, she was a no matter what person. She's still here now. She covers the ground she stands on. If you're casual about your dream will end up a casualty. My mother, she was convicted in her spirit to leave a life that counts, a life that matters, a life that makes impact. And I think all of us are called upon to do that. Most people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65 because they've not found something that give their lives meaning and purpose to make a greater impact. And here's something else. Not only must you have a life of service and belief and inspire those around you and caring with love and a heart-centered life and be convicted to always looking for ways to reach higher. Socrates says a man's reach is to supersede his grasp for what are the heavens for. But the other thing is, my mother had drive. She still has it now. You have to have a drive to get better, a drive, something in you. You have greatness built in you. And because of most people's lack of drive, most people unwillingness to discover who they are and whose they are, most people not taking the time to work on themselves, to focus their mind, to put in the effort and to commit themselves to live a life that matters, that stands out, a life that counts. That's Anna Marie. Anna Marie. Oh, yes, my mother. You can tell I'm a mama's boy. As you look at your life, here's what I know. Whatever you see yourself doing now, you're marching toward purpose, meaning, and impact. Whatever vision that you hold for yourself, see it accomplished and understand this. It can be done. It can be done. And the glue is service, belief, caring, conviction, and drive. My name is Evan. I'm Anna Marie's boy. I love my mama. Bye for now.
There we go. I love that. Wow. Man in action is great.
Yeah. Well, what did you get from that?
I love how you were able to quickly summarize the points, but also bring your own quotes in and all the things that is Les Brown style, the quotes and the parables and the stories, and just how you deconstructed and made it personal. That, hey, I'm here telling a story to help you get to know me a little bit better. And through my mom as a proxy, you get the message, not just me sharing, here's what you need to do, but hey, here's how I learned from my mom, and you can have similar greatness for your life too.
Yes. Now, but here where I would go now. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as I look at my life now, and people might ask the question, why do you do what you do? And because of things that I learned from my mother. The program that I have showcasing methods and techniques and inspirational stories and have it be clean and family friendly, because I know that what we listen to, we turn into. I've been doing this for years, and at a time where there's so many speakers out here don't have any sense of decency and shame about the language that we use. We have standards. I got that from my mother. We've been doing this for years, and I never had anything come from my program that I would not be proud for my mother to hear. We don't allow profanity in our programming. Les Brown believes that profanity is the strongest expression of a weak mind. And as we look at ourselves in and out of the pandemic, words have power. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be established unto you. The things that you want to do, it can be done. Death and life is in the tongue. And most of us speak death. And most of us are watching things that are killing the positive mindset and sense of optimism and hope and spirits in people all around the world. It's a special time and special place. And my goal is to be David, facing these Goliaths, and keep in mind, Goliath lost. I got 5 stones, but I don't need but one. And that one is service or belief. When I got some backup too. Man, anybody who knows you, this is who you are. You serve with your life. You want to inspire people to believe in themselves. You have a caring heart. You are convicted on the things that you want to accomplish with your life, to live a life that will outlive you. And you have a drive and hunger to get better. You're not satisfied with where you are. You believe that since greatness is possible, then being excellent is not enough. It's my honor to be in the presence of you, sir.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You have something special. You have greatness in you. This is Les Brown, Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, and Dorothy Bell's pride and joy. That's another conversation. I have a special guest today, Anthony am I pronouncing it Sarandria?
Sarandria.
Sarandria. Anthony
Yes,
Sarandria. And he has a company. And tell us the name of your company, please.
Pocket Your Dollars.
Pocket Your Dollars. What do you mean by that?
We help connect customers with different financial and insurance products that help save them money. So we spend millions of dollars a month on paid social advertising and drive customers to Geico, Progressive, or a company like that, and we get paid for actually generating the customer. So we're really the marketing arm and engine for a lot of these Fortune 500 companies.
So Anthony, how did you get into this, what you're doing? How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for about a decade. So I started out of my dorm room in college, my first business, and I was going door to door selling solar hot water systems, which is a grind in itself and fun. And similar to what you mentioned as far as the world changing, I realized that I wanted a way to be able to infinitely touch and drive customers without having to geographically be there or my time. So not having to work 15 hours a day and just, in Arizona where I live and where, as many doors as I could knock. So found this thing called the internet. And I became obsessed around the idea of being able to drive a customer after setting up certain mechanisms in place that they could come through. So, I'd say to everyone out there who's thinking of embarking on some kind of entrepreneurial journey, or you already are in some way. I think you mentioned it with the tree falling. I think it's exceptionally important to spend more time learning how to drive customers and attract customers, more so than I think so many people get. I call it like the mom syndrome. Like they're holding on to their baby, their idea or their product, and they put all their time, energy, and spend 4 years developing this product, and they don't know if the market wants it. They don't even know if anyone wants to look at it yet. So it's this kind of minimum viable product mentality, where get something that's decent, good enough, and then spend your time, energy, money on marketing it, see if it'll actually sell. Someone will actually pull out their credit card for that product or that service. I think is infinitely a better use of time and energy and money than it is in product development, at least at the early stages. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah. Well, let me ask now, how did you get into marketing? Okay, I understand that you're in the business, but then you transition into this space. What inspired you to do that?
For me, I had to set in a lot of motivational material from yourself. I had a real belief that if I was going to sustainably work harder than the guy next to me or the girl next to me, I needed to have a passion or a why behind it, right? Like to stay hungry for it. And for me, I got to see my family grow up middle class, not poor, not rich, middle class, and live paycheck to paycheck. And I got to see those poor financial habits, stigmatizate divorce, depression, alcoholism, and all sorts of problems with my family. And I had this idea, this dream that if I could help Americans become more financially literate, that I'm not just helping, put more money in their pocket so they can go spend it on a Friday night, but it literally could help, cure suicide, divorce, alcoholism, depression, anxiety, all these other problems that come from financial hardship. So that was my why around it. And at first it was, how can I help Americans get out of debt? And with that, we found different companies, debt consolidation, debt relief companies that offered those services, but they weren't very good at marketing themselves or getting in front of customers or educating them on their products. So that's what we did. We came in and we said, hey, instead of you paying me, $10,000 a month to run your Facebook ads or do your SEO or Google AdWords, pay me every time you actually get a customer. So when I'll put up all the money, you'll do it off my websites, my content, and only when you actually enroll a customer is when you pay me. And that kind of no-brainer offer, I think, is what's catapulted us to be where we are today. So we really focused on how can we make it impossible for our customer, which today is a Geico or Progressive or Fortune 500 company, to say no.
I got to stop you. Did you just say, help me, Tyrone? Tyrone is my squirrel friend. He's a squirrel, but he taught me squirrely. Tyrone, I'm going to have him rewind. Did you just say that you do the marketing and you get paid after you help me get a customer?
Correct. Yep. You got it.
So this is not marketing and you get paid on a promise. This
Correct.
is a marketing that you get paid on performance.
You got it. That's exactly right. Performance marketing. Yes, sir.
Wow. That's different.
Right.
You know what?
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 51 years. I've never heard that.
Yes, sir.
That's different.
Yeah.
How long you been doing this?
About a decade now. About 10 years since I was.
So
since
you
I was
got
8.
to be very confident in your approach and
Correct.
the impact that you can make for the service that you provide in this space for the customers, the clients that you get. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it started for us. I got paid to really, like you mentioned, people are used to with like a marketing company or product or service. I got paid to perform work, right? And then I think when you realize that you're really good at something, you have the ability to adjust your pricing model where you can be compensated actually better. So I'm wearing more risk, but there's more upside for me. So now you don't care about whether you like me or reports I give you or how much work I'm doing. And I can set one thing up that works. If it gets you profitable customers, you'll pay me until you're blue in the face or until you can't go find money somewhere. So I think, anyone listening in again, embarking or already on an entrepreneurial journey, I think that standing out from the crowd, like you mentioned, is extremely important. And it doesn't always need to be necessarily wearing all the risk like I did and having a great pricing model, but something that differentiates you when they have a million offers out there. Like you just said, you probably get bombarded by marketing companies asking you to, let me market for you. And if someone came in your door and said, hey, Les, only when you enroll someone, pay me. You stand out, or you're different, or you're aligned with the incentives are aligned. So how can you align with your customer, even if you're cutting grass, right? Like, how many hours can I give you back with your kids, right? You have a lawn mowing company. It's a different frame than I 10% off for me to mow your lawn. Instead, it's hey, I'm here to give dads back their Saturday by cutting grass. It's a different messaging. It's a different angle to come from, and it really gets down to that why. Like, what are you actually providing for your customer? What service or product are you actually doing for them? You're not cutting their grass. You're giving them hours back with their kids.
Man, you know how many people, including me, that have been ripped off? Well, people write these great marketing letters, and you hire them to promote you or your products, or your knowledge, or your talents, or your skills, and they don't deliver.
Yes.
And I paid for the promise.
Right.
You know how many people listening to us right now who've been ripped off paying for the promise?
Sir.
And you came up with this revolutionary concept. You say, hey, pay me based upon my performance. If I deliver for you, you pay me. If I don't deliver, you don't owe me anything.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Whoa. So now you incentivized to find ways to make it happen so you can get paid.
That's right. We're aligned. You got it.
Wow. I'm stuck there. Come on. What's the name of your company?
PocketYourDollars.com.
Pocket Your Dollars. I'm waiting for something. I'm looking for a download right now. Make money with Anthony. Pocket Your Dollars. Oh my God. Make money with Anthony, because he wants you to pay him based upon his performance, not a promise. He's so good, he's not going to promise that you're going to make money by working with him. He says, you don't pay me a dime until I make you $1. Come on, somebody. Well, oh man, I'm excited. You got me fired up. I'm hungry. Look here, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to pause before you email him or call him until I get my order in. I'm going to lock him up for a minute. No way. No, your line gonna be busy. I'm gonna be calling you. Tyrone gonna call. That's my girlfriend, and we're gonna hook. Now, where are you? I'm looking at your background. Where are you?
I'm in Northern California. I'm in Napa today. Yeah.
Okay, it's beautiful weather the other day. All right, I'm a hot Atlanta. All right, but it ain't
Yes.
too hot today. Yes, man, I'm so excited about that. Okay, so how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm relatively active on Instagram. It's just my first and last name. If you reach out, if you have any questions or need any help, and then Pocket Your Dollars is our website again too, and feel free to take a peek at there. And it's like I said, I try and get back to everyone with any questions they may have or anything, whether it's marketing related or entrepreneurial related, sales, and anything I can help with. Les has given me so much free material over the years. Any way I can pay it forward to your community, I'd welcome and be excited about.
Thank you. When did you first hear my voice?
I first heard your voice when I was in high school playing basketball, and I'm the one speech. And I to this day, I told you this when I met you in person at your house.
Yes.
I tear up or I cry almost every single time I listen to that, and it's and it really, you helped me realize that I was different, just like we all are, right? There's, like you said, there's greatness in all of us, but to really like internalize that and understand, like I'm the one, or I'm different, is that was really the first time I think that was ever instilled in me, was that greatness that lives within me to get pulled out.
That's in the Georgia Dome speech.
Yes, I love that speech.
Yeah, that's before 80,000 people. Yes, and Mr. Washington said to me, young man, when I said, and he was walking away from me, I said, sir, can I talk to you? And you said that we have something special. He said, yes. Then he was turning to walk away again, and I stopped him again. What do you want now? And I said, you said we could make our parents proud, our school proud. I want to make my mama proud. He said, yes. And he turned to walk away. I said, sir, yes, what is it now? I said, I'm the one, sir.
I'm the one. All my life, they compared me to my sister who graduated from the University of Miami and my twin brother who's very smart. They always tease me, but I am the one. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You remember me? I'm Miss Mamie Brown's son. As he walked away, oh man, you done took me back there. Why you want to come over here and break a brother down?
I love it.
Oh my God. Oh man. Oh, we got to work together. We got to. Yes. Oh, you are a category king as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to get the word out, because you're the real deal. Anytime you say to people, let me perform for you, let me increase your revenue, let me increase your sales, let me grow your organization with my marketing strategy, and then you pay me out of what you earn.
Yes, sir.
That's a no-brainer.
Yes,
Nobody's doing that. You got to know your stuff in order for that to happen and become a reality.
Yes.
You betting on you. Very few people do that.
Yeah, agreed.
I remember Jackie Robinson said, don't make it a level playing field. Just let me on and I'll level it myself.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, that's beautiful.